Well, you join me by the banks of a little local river. I'm hoping I can find some roach and dace. It's the trout close season. I'm trying to avoid trout. The easiest thing is obviously to get a half a pint of maggots and let them trickle down the swim, but I'd get absolutely inundated with trout if I tried that. I know that from experience. So bread, I might get the odd trout, but largely it'll attract the roach and dace, and perhaps the better quality ones too. I won't get as many bites as with maggot, but it's well worth trying. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the basics of the trotting and see how we go on. If you're new to float fishing in a river, especially a small river, this is the video for you to watch. Okay, well, let's have a look at the setup. It's a 12-foot old style match rod, one of the early carbon fibre ones. I inherited it from my dad, and a vintage centrepin reel. It's not an expensive one. I think they were made in the 1950s and 60s. It's a strike right centrepin. Nice for this job. I'm fishing bread flake, so it's a number 14 hook, which would be a bit too big for maggot. Probably about right for a small worm or else bread flake. It's barbless hook. We've got a number 4 dropper, another number 4 dropper, and then we've got strung out BB shot, and there's an extra little, I think it's a number 8 there, just to make sure the float sits down in the water nicely. Problem with roach and dace, you get a lot of jittery sort of fiddly bites that don't develop, and sometimes it's tiny little fish that can't get the bait in the mouth, but more often it's the fish feeling the resistance of the float. So we dot it down as much as possible so that it doesn't quite sink, and it's nice and sensitive, and when they take the bait they can't feel the buoyancy of the float. So that's quite important really with shy biting fish like roach and dace. Right, so let's have a look at the bait and ground bait. Got a roll there. I'm going to use the inside of that for bread flake. Fresh out of the freezer, nice and soft. And the ground bait, we've got a mixture of this census lake, which isn't really a thing for flowing water, but it's just a small stream. It's not too much flow. And a bit of this white crumb, which is just scrap bread ground up really in the food processor. I've put a bit in already, and I've got a bit more to use there. If I need to mix a bit more I will do. We'll see how the bites go first. This time of the year it's cold and the fish aren't necessarily feeding too hard. There's a bit of cold water coming down this river, and really you've got to sort of fish to the bites. If they're biting keenly, keep feeding them. If not, it's got to go in very sparingly. So that's enough for the time being, I think. Landing net set up ready, and we're going to put a small piece of bread flake on the hook. Something like that, and see what we can attract. And a little bit of ground bait in the swim to wash down. And start the first trot. The depth, I'm thinking that's round about the depth, maybe a little bit less. If I start catching bottom the odd time, I'm probably fishing about the right depth. It's quite cold now, and you notice it's a strung out shot, so that as that float travels down the river, I hold it back a bit and the bait goes in front, and if I hold back the float completely and stop it, the bait will rise up in the water. Now I can swim over snags with that, and also it's a nice little trick. Now and again it'll get a roach or a dace to take if they're a bit reluctant. So let's give it a swim down. I think the fish will be on the near side where the current's just a little bit more gentle. So just holding back slightly, it's not actually running freely, that float. We've got a fish straight away. Feels a bit lively. Is this a trout? I don't know. No, I don't think it's a trout, there's no leaping. There we go. Oh, it looks like a nice dace. Yeah, beauty. That's good for the first cast. Oh, it's a nice one. You take that bait well down, so we'll need the disgorger. There we go, he's out. What a beauty. Lovely fish. And away he goes. Lovely plump dace. Always wet your hands before handling fish. Not something that you see a lot of with coarse fishermen on YouTube, but game fishermen are much better at fish welfare, it seems, which is quite ironic. As several years ago, game fishermen used to pretty well kill everything they caught, and now it's absolutely turned about and everything's returned and the fish care is excellent. And I think the coarse fishermen could learn a bit from that. I do a bit of both, so I can see it from both sides. Round about that area the bite came. And this time it's a clean trot straight through. It's getting difficult to see the float by the time it gets right down there, so I'm going to stop it there and bring it back. I'll go through trotting with a fixed spool reel afterwards, but with a centre pin all I'm doing, I've wound it so the line comes over the top and I just stop it with my thumb like that, or I can encourage it to run a bit. If I've got a light float on and not much flow, sometimes the current's not strong enough to draw the line off, but there we go. I'm just letting that nice tight line from the rod top to the float. Oh, was that a bite? The bread's gone. So while we've got fish obviously prepared to feed, I'll put a bit more ground bait in. You see, that's just drawing the line off the reel. I'm in a place there where I know there's a big rock it's going to hang on, so I'll take it back into the middle. On a small river you can do this with quite a short rod, you can control that line, and then we'll just bring it back this way a bit closer to that tree. Oh, is that another bite? I'm not sure. Keep a little bit of tension on that float. After that first bite, there's not much doing. I'm adjusting the depth a bit because I don't think they're inclined to come far off the bottom, so trot through again. This time a little bit more depth through that middle section. No, it doesn't seem to be happening. Nice near side again. And then we might try a worm. In fact, what I'm going to do is put a few chopped worms in now. So if you drifted into that little hole under the tree there. Might be a chance of a perch as well with a chopworm, and it's a good bait for odd time just drawing up a bigger than average roach. Surprising how often that works. Usually just as the lights fading at the end of the day. But nice little roach there, in beautiful condition, lovely river roach. Slightly bigger fish on. What is this? Doesn't feel like a trout. I think we've got us a chub here. Maybe a proper chub rather than a chublet. I don't know. Strange fight. And that up into the head stream. No, it's a trout. Trout. Not a very athletic trout, but that's what it is. It's a big brownie. I'd say big, decent brownie. Hold on to those stones there to beach it. I'll get a hook out. Try not to handle him. Can avoid it. He's free. Go on, get up there and spawn, make some babies. Come on. And another chublet. Well, not the most eventful session really in the end. But that was pretty well late. Just a short bit of a break. Really a bit foolish going out the first day of a cold snap. It's never particularly good sport, but that little swim has given me some decent bags of silvers in the past, and I'm sure it will do again. Okay, so I hope it's been helpful and useful and interesting, and if you think the content's for you, please consider subscription, totally free, and I'll see you on the next bit of a fishing adventure. Take care, bye.